Okay, thank you for joining. So today we are starting a new unit, which is innovative technology in computing. So in this, the first learning outcome, we're going to look into understanding the innovative development in technology. So what this unit is going to aim, the learner will now develop an understanding of innovative development in technology and the impact on the computer industry. So here we have some indicative contents. So the topics where we're going to touch base, we're going to look into lifestyle and health, how technology has improved our lifestyle, the way we live, and how they're going to keep on improving with emerging technologies. So we look into topics like mobile devices, wearable technology, e-cigarettes, medical procedures, cellular communication, where we have 3G, 5G, and mobile broadband. Then we look into artificial intelligence with robot, IoT devices, virtual reality, and augmented reality. Then we'll look into also 3D printing technologies. So before diving in, there's a short video which I wanted to share with you, which will give you an understanding of innovative technologies.
Technological innovation is an extended concept of innovation. While innovation is a rather well-defined concept, it has a broad meaning to many people, and especially numerous understanding in the academic and business world. Innovation refers to adding extra steps of developing new services and products in the marketplace or in the public that fulfill unaddressed needs or solve problems that were not in the past. Technological innovation, however, focuses on the technological aspects of a product or service rather than covering the entire organization business model. It is important to clarify that innovation is not only driven by technology. Technological innovation is the process where an organization or a group of people working outside a structured organization embarks in a journey where the importance of technology as a source of innovation has been identified as a critical success factor for increased market competitiveness. The wording technological innovation is preferred to technology innovation. Technology innovation gives a sense of working on technology for the sake of technology. Technological innovation better reflects the business consideration of improving business value by working on technological aspects of the product.
I have another video to show.
How do disruptive technologies cause market leaders to fail, even when they seem to do everything right?
Everybody knows why badly managed businesses fail, but what's more interesting is how companies like Kodak or Nortel Networks seem to do everything right and still didn't survive. In the 1990s, Professor Clayton Christensen from the Harvard Business School put forward a theory of disruptive technology to explain this. In every market, there's a trajectory of performance improvement that customers are able to make use of, but where this trajectory lies is different from one customer to the next. Some customers can be satisfied with very basic levels of performance. Some others are very demanding and will only feel satisfied by very high levels of performance from a technology. Disruptive technologies enter the market offering very low performance, but their performance steadily improves. So, in the early days of a disruptive technology, the new innovation is considered to be not good enough by most of the market, but it seems perfectly acceptable to those customers that never really ask for more. This small group of customers might be attracted by the fact that this barely good enough technology is less expensive or offers them a bit of new functionality that the old technology simply didn't provide. The problems often begin for industry incumbents when they are first assessing a potentially disruptive innovation entering their sector. The company's biggest customers are telling it at that point that the new technology simply doesn't meet their needs. So they apply the usual business logic and very rationally conclude that they should stick with the technology that they already have. But here's the thing. The new technology that started out as low quality still gets adopted in an undemanding corner of the market and steadily improves until it is good enough to meet the performance expectations of even the most demanding customers. By this time, however, it's usually too late for the incumbent to do much about it because they fail to develop the required capabilities and linkages to leverage the new technology. Christensen frequently uses the advent of the word processor as an example. Many people who used them in the 1980s probably remember being frustrated by the fact that the computer sometimes struggled to keep up with your fingers as you were typing. Demanding customers, like professional secretaries, would have been horrified by the new technology, and a typewriter company would have rationally listened to these customers and decided that they should continue to stay focused on improving typewriters. Despite their imperfect performance, however, these early word processors had tremendous appeal for one group of customers, people who didn't type very well and who loved being able to easily fix their mistakes. This group was willing to forgive the lack of speed in exchange for this new functionality. But as computers got better and faster, word processors steadily improved until even the fastest, most demanding typists were satisfied with the new technology. Now think about technologies that are unfolding their disruptive potential right now, like 3D printing. At the moment, 3D printers for home use produce relatively low-resolution, fused, deposition modeled plastic compound artifacts. But give it a few years and think about the number of objects you would love to print. Lost a rook in a chess game? Forgot a present, it's 10 p.m. and the shops are closed? When affordable 3D printing can service more sophisticated ends of the market, retail, manufacturing, and logistics won't be the same anymore. One of the interesting things about disruptive innovations is that they tend to have almost nothing to do with how radical the new technology is. Instead, what makes a technology disruptive is the fact that it isn't sustaining, which basically means that it isn't based on the same markets and value networks as what's already available. In that regard, the emergence of disruptive innovations is really almost as much of a management phenomenon as it is about the technology in and of itself. Disruptive innovations get a lot of attention in the business press because of the seismic shifts that they can deliver in industries. In this way, disruptive innovations are sometimes a force for renewal in the marketplace. And while they are responsible for failures of large companies, every one of these fatalities in the business world tends to be a new entrepreneur's success story.
Okay, so this video gave us a quick introduction to what innovative technologies are and how companies have been using them. So here we have a brief history of computing where we see how technology has changed over the years and how data started from normal transmissions and become into something real big where there is loads of data being shared, such as big data and quantum computing. So we can see in the early 60s there was the formation of big companies. Nowadays they're big companies, but back in the days they were like startups, such as IBM, where the first computers they were built with mainframes. So this massive mainframe, they were not even as powerful as our smartphone that we have nowadays. So this this is the evolution of how computing has been going from the early 60s, where in the 60s we had mainframe, and coming up to the 80s we now have client server. So we have all these software applications built from companies like Oracle, SAP, Microsoft, which now they provide client service applications. And they've now, in the 90s, they've now moved to the web, where it is now possible to have static web pages, where it is possible to now interact over the internet. And in the 2000, they've now moved into the cloud. So by the creation of all this data, this large amount of data, we now need to store them in remote servers and more, where they have more capacity. And these are all called cloud services. Then in 2010, so on, we had the introduction of social media, where with social media, we now have to recognize the ability of working with unstructured data, and that's where it comes into place the ability of working with unstructured databases to store all these softwares. And lastly, now we have Internet of Things, where the amount of data is now shared through the cloud, and they use this data to improve the service of these IoT devices. So we have explained what is big data. So as you can see, big data exploration is used to address the challenge faced by every large organization, where business information is spread across multiple systems and silos, and people need access that data to meet the job requirements. So as we mentioned before, back in the 2000, there was not such amount of data. Normally the data that was transmitted was via email and fax, but with the arrival of social media, now this amount of data has grown exponentially. So therefore we need to solve this issue, where we have now introduced big data. Cloud computing, as we explained, it is very on demand, and it is availability of computing system resource, especially where data storage and computing power without direct activities managed by the user. So where we used to have when we used to store data into remote server, now it is possible to do this through cloud computing, where this large cloud predominantly today, they often have function distributed over multiple locations from the central server. Also, we have ubiquitous computing or quantum computing, which they are computing that they are supercomputing, and they have the ability to solve very complex algorithms, which will now allow users to interact with the computer, and this can exist in many different forms, including laptop computer, tablets, and terminals in everyday objects such as refrigerators, microwaves, and so on. So now we have to look into the impact of technology when it comes to innovation on society. So I've explained that technology has changed the way we live. So for instance, social media has changed the way we relate to each other. And also there are other type of technologies which have changed the way we commute, the way we learn, and the way we do business. So technology has had a very huge impact for the society over the last decades. So let's look into some of the positive impact. This can be technology has now mechanized agriculture. It has now improved transportation, improved communication, and has also improved education and learning process. Some negative aspect that we can see, it is now a resource of depletion, more pressure on earth resources, increased population, and increased pollution. So these are few of the negative aspects that comes with technology. Also, as we can see, there are knowledge society, where by information we're simply looking into facts, comments, opinions expressed through words, image, and sounds. All this is structured or unstructured information. While by knowledge is simply the output of the reconstruction of information by a person according to his, hers, or theirs history and context. What is information society? So by information society, we're simply looking into the information at its own good that can be exchanged. So when we now going to come to interact with humans, with other people, we're now going to share useful information which can now allow them to buy, sell, store, or do whatever they want to do with their own goods. Knowledge society, on the other hand, is a human society in which knowledge can bring justice, solidarity, democracy, and peace. So as we can see, a society in which knowledge is a force for change in society. So this can be used as a tool, as a weapon, a tool which can allow us to improve our society. So now to conclude, with information we can now transmit. With knowledge we must be acquired or constructed and integrate in ICT in order to build knowledge society. Social media has had a very impact on the technology and in our society. As we all know, social media can have really good impact where people can now do businesses, they can now share their emotions, their feelings, events, memorable events about their life. And on the other side, social media can be very disruptive, can be very auto-sabotaging, where people now care more about how they look to other people rather than how they actually are. And they can also lead to mental health issues and depression. So social media, interactive Web 2.0, web is an internet-based application. So this application allows us to interact within each other. And the way this social media build, this application will now have database. They will now have APIs, and they will have also graphical user interface. So they're pretty much full stack application. And the user generated can now generate content such as text, post, or comments, digital photos or video, and they can now generate them through online interaction. So basic research. So by basic research, this is the phase of technological innovation process that only occurs in large companies usually in the pharmaceutical, energy, and information technology sector, where this will now keep research and development department continuously abreast of the state of the technologies that most impact the organization. Also now there is applied research where it detects some specific market needs that might represent an opportunity to develop a sustainable competitive advantage for the business. The company research among the technologies that dominate the way to solve the problem. Then we have development, where reaching a solution to a market needs, it is time to develop the product and service or process that will now be marketed or employed. Innovation in engineering, where we can see prototype sets, where we have to turn into scalable product or service that can be mass produced or meet the specific needs for the industry. Also technologies in marketing, so we can see that the product or service is ready to be released. That is time to concept, test, market research, and market testing to see if any adjustment are still required, depending on how the acceptance and distribution is taking place in test market. Also, we have evaluation of technology, where it is set of a principle, methods, and technology tools for effectively assessing the potential value of a technology and the contribution to the company or a region or an industry sector. So this is mainly what we need to know regarding today's session. And we're now at the end of this session. So I just wanted to know if you have any question.
There's no question.
Okay, so if there is no question, I will now end this tutorial, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you for joining. Bye.
Bye.